My name is Randy Bigley. Joining me right now from Ohio Mutual Insurance Group, Todd Boyer. Hello, Todd.
Hello, Randy. It's good to be with you again.
Same here. We don't see each other that often. It's good to see you when you come in.
Yeah, thank you. Usually there's a couple microphones between us when we're getting a chance to see each other.
Exactly. Always is, isn't there?
Yeah.
Right. So what's going on? Talk about what is the state of the industry going on right now? We haven't talked for a while.
We haven't. And I tell you what, it is a tough industry environment right now for insurers. I think if anybody's following the news, you're seeing where in some states, California, Florida, some other states, large insurers are pulling out of states entirely.
Yeah.
And they're just saying, this environment, we can't make money because of either wildfires in California or hurricane risks in the state of the industry in Florida. And that's a very unusual, very unprecedented circumstance. And we certainly don't have that here in Ohio in terms of some of that, those extremes in terms of risks. But it still is a very tough environment to make any money in the insurance industry right now.
Yeah.
We have inflation, which is increasing the cost of repairing cars, replacing damage to somebody's property, whether it be a home or a farm or wherever it might be, a business. So those costs have really gone up very quickly over the last year and a half. And so that creates an issue. But also, we have a steady drumbeat of increased weather that is creating higher levels and higher frequencies of weather losses. So we're right now in kind of a little bit of a hunker down, making as many smart decisions as we can at Ohio Mutual to try to kind of hold the line, maintain value for our policyholders, minimize price increases to the extent that we can, because we know that prices are going up all across the board.
Right.
And try to make sure that we're moving forward in places other than just costs so that we can emerge from this cycle. And one of the things you learn when you're in the insurance industry is most of these things are very cyclical. So you'll have increased costs, then you'll have falling costs. You'll have an increase in the number of claims, and then it'll fall off. So we take a very long-term look, which as a mutual insurance company where our members are essentially have an ownership role in the company, that's the right way to approach it. But what it means is that in the short term, sometimes we have to be very strategic about keeping our eye a little bit further down the horizon when we are weathering what is happening in the short term.
Sure. With Ohio, we don't have to worry about the hurricanes and stuff, but you worry about the bad weather. I mean, it seems like, to me, it seems like a lot more storms come up, doesn't it?
It does. And, one of the things that anybody in the insurance industry will tell you is if you join this industry, regardless of whatever your role is, suddenly you start paying attention to weather a lot more.
Oh, I bet, yeah.
We have, a need to keep track of weather and the costs and the frequency and all that, probably more so than an awful lot of industries do. Just even an anecdotal look at what's happening right now, it seems like there has been a larger number of storms. The damage that they're doing is elevated. And in an environment where costs are going up on everything, that's kind of a double whammy.
I was going to say the cost of construction these days is just crazy. It's a lot. I can imagine what it costs to repair a house or replace.
It is. And and we're looking at even practical things like if you have a claim for your auto and you need to have a rental car. Some of our policies, we're recognizing some of those older policies, the daily limit on what is paid out of that policy for a rental car is no longer adequate because the cost for those car rentals has gone up so fast.
Oh, wow.
So we have to adjust that, which of course is a cost that gets passed on to the consumer for their insurance policy price. So all of those things just create a very tough environment. We're trying to do our best to be transparent and open and communicate with our policyholders and explain why they're seeing the cost of their insurance go up. And for a lot of people, it's a difficult thing to understand when they open up their renewal on their homeowner or their auto policy, and that renewal has a higher cost. And they're like, well, I haven't had any claims, so why am I paying more? And you just have to remember that you are paying as a customer for increased costs for everybody who has one of those policies. So that cost gets shared. So when the tide is rising for everybody, it's floating all those boats higher.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's not a comfortable thing to see those costs go up when you feel like, hey, I haven't cost the company any money, but claims have gone up in terms of frequency and cost for everybody, and those costs get shared by everybody who has a policy.
Yeah, yeah, it's unfortunate, but it's the way it is these days, right?
It is just the environment we're in right now.
Yeah. Talk about your expansion at Ohio Mutual.
Well, one of the things that we don't want to do is lose sight of kind of that long-term perspective.
Yeah.
And one of the strategies that a company like Ohio Mutual has is we want to be operating in a number of different geographies, particularly those that have different weather patterns.
Sure.
So up until 2000, early 2000s, we were a one-state company, and for 100 years it operated only in Ohio. And then it became clear that if we were going to really grow effectively, we had to be in other areas. So we expanded into New England.
Okay.
And we're now in 5 states in New England, and we've added Indiana, and we just this year have made steps to, and we're almost to the point of concluding an effort to add Wisconsin.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
As an 8th state for Ohio Mutual.
Oh, great. Yeah.
And Wisconsin is a very, it's a very familiar market for us. There's a lot of farms, there's a lot of rural areas, there's urban areas. So it feels an awful lot like an Ohio or Indiana, kind of that Midwestern kind of environment that we're very comfortable operating in. And we have an opportunity to merge in a small company that will give us kind of a toehold into Wisconsin, and then we can grow that business to a statewide presence. And that is a different weather pattern. The weather that comes across Wisconsin very infrequently also impacts Ohio, Indiana, or even New England. So it's a different weather pattern, which strategically for us is the right thing to do. And it'll enable us to be able to take Ohio Mutual's products and the service that we provide to a whole new audience.
And that'll be official in October, right?
It's looking like the 1st of October is going to be our kind of official date where that all of the processes are completed. So we had to have all the boards, both organizations look at that. The policyholders for the company that we are merging in, those policyholders had to vote. They voted unanimously in order to join Ohio Mutual. So we're looking forward to that integration process and bringing all of our products to that state and then building a relationship with folks in Wisconsin.
Awesome. Talk about some of the member benefits that you guys have.
Well, one of the things that we've been working on here the last couple of years is how do we take insurance, which to some people feels like a very intangible product. You're buying a contract. Well, if something happens, you're promising to do something like pay my claims on on whatever the terms are. And how do we take something that's very intangible in a lot of people's eyes and we, for lack of a better term, we tangibilize it? Now I get it that that's a made up word. But how does it feel like it's something, it's not like going to Target and picking something off a shelf. You pay for it, you walk home, you have it, you can see it. So for insurance, it's a little different. So we have been working at building a portfolio of member benefits, and we call those Member Plus. And what we're doing is looking for ways that we can enhance our value to our policyholders. And so we are making available to those policyholders a portfolio, and we continue to add to that portfolio, but a portfolio that we're building that has things that will add additional value and candidly will provide kind of a win-win kind of response for not only the company but also our policyholders. So for instance, one of the things that we have been promoting to our policyholders is a device called Ting that evaluates the electrical system in your house. It's just something you plug into any plug in the house, and it will alert you if there's an arcing issue or a short, and that could be either in your wiring or in a device that is plugged into a plug somewhere in your house.
Oh, wow.
And it can alert you to a potential electrical fire issue before it happens so you can get it fixed.
Okay. Yeah.
Obviously, for the homeowner, that's a great thing because
Yeah.
that saves you from the hassle. For your insurance company, it's a good thing because it saves us from having to pay out to put you back and make you whole if you do have a fire.
Right, yeah.
So there's a win-win kind of balance there. And providing that device free to a homeowner, we're able to see the potential value of that for us in claims that don't happen.
Right, yeah.
We also are providing benefits for to turn off your water in case there's a water leak, so you don't have water running if you're on vacation and a toilet valve fails, and then suddenly you come home from your vacation and your water's been filling your house for a few days. We have Simply Safe security systems to protect you from theft. And again, these are things that we're making available at little or no cost. And it's a way of providing additional value in tangibilizing insurance for our customers. And we're always looking for new ways that we can kind of add to that portfolio. We're looking at some different things to add that hopefully before the end of the year we'll be able to make available to our customers and promote, and we've had a really great response.
Wow, great. So be looking for more stuff probably coming your way, right?
Absolutely. We call it Member Plus because all of our customers are members of Ohio Mutual, and this is a plus on top of the great coverage and customer service that we provide in their traditional insurance product.
Todd, do you have a website?
We do. So Ohio Mutual's website is omig.com, and there's information there. If you want to get a little bit of information about these member benefits, if you look under products, there's a page that says Beyond Insurance, and there's a little profile, a little summary of some of those additional things that we're adding to that portfolio of member benefits there.
Fantastic. Todd, thank you so much for coming in
Hey,
today.
thanks, Randy. It's good to see you again.
Same here. Thank you.
All right, man.